Dotty.
Dear Dotty.
Dear Dotty. Dear Dotty.
There's this boy in my class who I really, really like.
I'm nervous about my piano exam.
My face is so spotty.
My best friends annoyed me.
What should I do?
Agony ants, advice columnists, Colleen Nolan. We all love reading these secret yet very public confessions. So how does it work? Well, a reader anonymously writes a letter asking for help, and the columnists with their wealth of knowledge will write back offering advice, from first crushes to body changes to relationship problems to work stresses, and Agony Ant covers it all. So how did this phenomenon start? Well, to answer that, we need to go back to London in 1691. There was a magazine called the Athenian Mercury, and John Dunton, who was the co-editor-in-chief and also a bookkeeper, one day he was out for a walk with his pals over at St George's Field when suddenly he stopped in his track because he had thought of the most amazing idea. Let's say that you had a burning question that needed answering. Who are you going to ask? And remember, this is before the days of the internet and mobile phones, so you couldn't just ask Siri or WhatsApp your pal. So who do you turn to? Well, John Dunton and his pal Richard Salt, who was the co-editor of the magazine and also a mathematician, these two guys paired together and formed the Athenian Society. So the public wrote in questions and the Athenian Society wrote back offering advice. Now, it's important to remember that back in those days, education was such a privilege and it wasn't offered to many. So the public took advantage of asking these two intellects all of their philosophical questions such as, what is love? And how can man know when he dreams and when he's really awake? Women were also invested in the idea, and they created their own version called the Ladies' Mercury, but unfortunately that only lasted for 4 weeks. However, because advice columns are anonymous, women took this opportunity to be more liberal and outspoken, and they asked questions about inequality and the mistreatment towards women. Gradually over time, the advice column idea steered more towards women, and that's because education was becoming more accessible, and so people didn't really seek advice from academics or intellects, but more so people that they could relate to, like a friend. Since then, we've had the likes of Della Manley's The Female Tatter in 1709 and Dorothy Dix, who in the 1930s and during World War II, her column reached over 273 magazines and up to 60 million readers worldwide. How cool is that? Now, writing down your most vulnerable and intimate problems and sending it to a complete stranger might sound completely ludicrous, but this concept is still used worldwide even today with things like magazines, newspapers, online forums, TV gurus, to even asking YouTubers. Often the media is filled with such serious stories that the advice column just offers a touch of humanity and a personable interaction.